Two local restaurants have officially launched a reusable takeout container program.
Western Mass News reporter Addie Patterson is taking a closer look at how the new program works.
Everything that we can do to reduce our consumption of single-use plastics is going to make a difference.
La Veracruzana and Poke Bowl are two local restaurants that will now serve food in reusable takeout containers. The eco-friendly initiative is all thanks to the program Rethink Disposable. The program works with restaurants, schools, hotels, and event spaces to reduce the amount of single-use disposable foodware items and replace them with safe, washable alternatives that can be used up to 1,000 times.
It saves businesses money, and it also reduces pollution and what ends up making its way to landfills and incinerators across the state.
The program started 12 years ago in California, but has since expanded to the East Coast, impacting several states here in New England. Program coordinator Amber Schmidt tells Western Mass News while the idea may be new to local residents, reusable to-go containers are already being used across Massachusetts.
There's many restaurants around the Boston area and suburbs that are already using reusable takeout containers. Unfortunately, there is no program like that here in Western Mass. And so
here's how the program works. Customers make a $10 deposit and get their first meal in a reusable container. Then you're able to bring the rinsed container back to a participating restaurant and swap it for another to-go meal. Customers can also get their $10 deposit back anytime by returning the container to the restaurant. Giancarlo Ozecki, manager of La Veracruzana in Northampton, tells us the green initiative will not only help his restaurant save money and reduce waste, but it benefits the entire community.
It helps out everyone, them, again, doing their part to kind of, go green, help a little bit, and, no one really wants to collect all their trash anyway in their house. If you got a family of 5 who always comes in and eats, you're always stacking those containers in your trash and, all that plastic waste.
Other representatives of the program tell us they believe these containers will eventually be popular across our area.
I think this is something the community is going to get behind because of the fact that it is a green initiative and is going to save the business costs over time.
Reporting in Northampton, Addie Patterson, Western Mass News.